Welcome to the first Ignite the Underdog podcast. My name is Haley Mareno, and I'll be your host.
And I'm your co-host, TJ Goetsch. It's good to be here, finally. Only been talking about it for about a year or so. May or may not be the second episode, the first one we had some problems with, but we're back. We're doing it.
We cut a lot of stuff out.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff. Shooting a podcast is a lot harder than what people would think.
It's way easier than it is, but
for two ADD people,
doesn't work too well.
But we're here, and we're doing it. We're finally doing it.
So, Haley, why don't you tell everyone what is Ignite the Underdog? How'd you come up with it?
Yeah, so really Ignite the Underdog, it's kind of my life motto. It's really my guiding light. And for the past 6 years, I've been really working in B2B consulting and trying to help small to medium-sized businesses to grow and optimize. And truly, I mean, I've just always been a big, huge music fan. Go to a lot of shows every single year. I try to beat my record every year, and I like to get to know a lot of the artists that I go see after this show, because I don't go to big shows. I don't go to no stadium shows. I refuse to sit in a seat. I'm a front row kind of gal.
Stand up.
Yeah, I'm also short, so I need to be able to see. But either way, I like to talk to the artists afterwards, and really by doing that, I learned a lot about the industry from the sense of all the struggles and the challenges that independent artists and up-and-coming artists really face. Watch some artists quit over the years and kind of fail, and I don't know, I just made it my mission. You know what? I really want to ignite the underdog really in the music industry, and so I made my move to Nashville, and yeah, here we are.
So what's the purpose of the podcast?
Purpose of the podcast.
Purpose of the pod.
So we both work in management, but I was telling TJ one day, it's like, I just really want to kind of help every artist, right? I'd never say no to a meeting. If there was just some way that I could provide a platform and a resource to all the artists, I would, right? If I had unlimited hours in the day. And so really the purpose of Ignite the Underdog as a podcast, a platform, social media, wherever you're watching or listening this, the purpose is to fuel independent artists with the tools and the strategies to really succeed in the industry. Give tips and tricks, talk about different ways or trends or things that are going on currently in the industry that normally they would never know about. And yeah.
Yeah, kind of a way to help everyone without being hands-on with everyone.
Without lack of better terms, it's to ignite the underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. Elliot, tell the people what we're talking about today.
I think the first big one to really jump into is talking about some social media type of things, that what should stay in, what's new coming in, and what should definitely stay out.
What needs to stay behind.
What comes to your mind, TJ?
Well, for staying in 2024, what are we keeping around?
Yeah.
Paid ads. I think there needs to be a larger emphasis on that, which sucks. But the algorithm doesn't support organic growth as much as it used to, and it rewards paid ads much more than it used to.
Well, Instagram or Meta, they are a business. They must make money. Mm-hmm. So naturally, the algorithm
is going to favor.
It's going to favor anything that is making Instagram money, right? So I think a big trend, and a lot of this stuff is based on media research, a lot of in-depth research surveys and things like that at the industry, but the algorithm isn't really listening. I would even argue that it's probably not even looking at engagement as much as it was in the past. At least when you talk about Instagram and you talk about Facebook, it's really leaning more towards that monetization side of things. I would say even TikTok is too.
Oh, TikTok, absolutely. And on TikTok, it's really easy to tell who's doing good on the paid ad side and who isn't. I'd say my biggest example right now of who's doing it really well is Cameron Marlowe.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the posts all the time. Corey Kent's another one that does it very well.
Yep. I would argue Corey Kent, that's how he got a really good kickstart.
Oh, absolutely.
Into the industry. But yeah, so the algorithm really isn't listening anymore. I would say that users, your fans, they're not seeing your content. So what's the stat? I think it's like 20% of your actual followers see your posts when it comes to Instagram or Facebook.
And much, much lower on TikTok.
Well, TikTok, it's only for you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a fraction of a percent.
Yeah. So followers don't really matter anymore. The algorithm really decides. And now when you think about Meta and you think about TikTok, monetization, ways that social media platform is going to be making money, those are going to reign much higher in the algorithm than organic, even if
and
it's
it's
good
not
content.
to say that every post needs to be paid if you want it to do well. Like, still do your normal organic post, look for that. But if it's something you really, really want people to see, definitely go more the paid ad route.
Right. Well, I think really social media has become oversaturated. A lot of things have become oversaturated as the tech boom and digital innovation and transformation has really happened throughout all industries. So with that, I think really this creates a new challenge. And I think it's actually going to open the door to more platforms like Patreon and more direct communication platforms, Discord.
Yep.
I've seen artists use Discord.
Reddit and
A way to directly connect with fans. It's opening that door for those more closed communities instead.
yeah.
And I think more so social media, the non-closed communities, really is going to be utilized for maybe discovery. I think that's kind of what it's leaning towards.
Yeah, because I mean now, like I said, the oversaturation, everyone is a user and a creator now.
Right.
And has the ability to. So how do you separate the two and make it into more, this person's a user, this person's a creator, and get that engagement to be like what it used to be? Yeah.
I mean, literally everyone's a creator now. And what's really interesting to me is this past week, it's been a major topic of conversation just about by any podcast that's focused on marketing or any outlet that's focused on marketing, even other industries. But TikTok Shop, like,
use it.
Well, yes, use it, but when it comes to everyone being a creator, you don't have to be an influencer to go on there and make money with affiliate marketing and do a bar of soap on TikTok.
And make money off of it.
And show your back knee with this bar of soap. Like, literally, I was listening to this earlier. This guy made $5,000, never even posted a video on TikTok, but he did the affiliate marketing, and a bunch of people bought that bar of soap because a lot of people have back knee, apparently, and made $5,000. No followers. Started with no followers. So just anyone can go on there and become an influencer, per se.
Now, you do need to have a minimum follower amount to do it, though, right?
I don't think so.
I thought it was 1,000 followers, and then you could do it.
Is it?
Pretty sure. Fact check.
Fact check
Podcast
it.
producer Caden.
Please pause for our fact check.
We'll cut this middle part.
Mm-hmm.
Need to be over 18 and at least 1,000 followers.
Okay, so it is 1,000. Well,
So once you get to 1,000 followers, then you have this ability, but
which it shouldn't be that hard to get to
1,000
1,000.
is not. It's not unattainable. It's really easy.
No.
I have an account with over 1,000. It wasn't
I would say
terribly
the
difficult.
average Gen Z person has 1,000 followers just from like friends and
Yeah,
that's just normal.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, so like with TikTok Shop, right? I think that's interesting. I think every time I get on TikTok, lately it's been a swipe and feels like it's an ad that is someone promoting some product that they're using. A lot of mine's skincare, but I'm sure everyone else is different.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a big in for 2024, especially in the lens of independent artists. You can sell merch and mainly just merch through that, but it's an easy way to do it. It's one click and you're in the shop.
I haven't seen any artists even leverage that though.
No, it's crazy that they're not, but they all can.
Right.
You can link it directly to your own Shopify.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're not doing it is insane to me.
It's
so easy.
And so earlier, I was looking into the TikTok Shop, and they have lower fees than Shopify. So they only take 2%. So let's say someone buys $100 worth of stuff, only $2. And then I think there's like a 20-cent like fee or transaction fee or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the fees are very, very low. Very, very low. The barrier to entry here basically doesn't even exist. There is no barrier.
It's anyone.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, and I think that creates a lot of good strategies for independent artists to sell their merch as well. Like you could take 10 t-shirts and send them out to influencers and say, hey, I'll give you a shirt if you make a video with it and link it to the shop.
Right.
Then they're making commission off of it. You're selling your shirts. It's a win-win all around.
Right. Yep. Instead of paying an influencer $500 to post a video, say, well, you're going to get paid by all the sales. How about that?
Paid by performance.
Yeah. So we'll put stuff in the show notes.
Yep. How to do that.
Of how to do it on TikTok
what
Shop.
You need.
Maybe some examples. We'll try to scour TikTok to find some examples, but I have not seen artists do it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple, but I mean, also TikTok, you don't see people advertising merch a lot, or artists at least.
Yeah.
Which I get because, if you just post a video about merch, it's probably not going to be,
well, I don't think you have to say, look at my new merch. You could be,
but I think
you could be playing an acoustic song or whatever, or cover wearing one of your shirts.
Right, and then just link it there.
And just link it.
But that's why I think the influencer route, or you can even do micro influencers and just see if the video pops off or whatever. And I think that's a great avenue to go, an easy way to get it out there.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have solid merch.
Yeah. There's something in my eye. Sorry. Like something flew into it. Good God. All right. Yeah, so TikTok Shop, another thing, and we're not going to dig into it right now, but definitely look at the socials. I'll be posting about the TikTok artist profile. That's something to leverage. But all that to say, I think what's in 2024 is monetization is going to matter more. These platforms want to make money. And it's not going to be just from ads from brands. It's going to be a whole new other avenue, right? We've already seen Instagram do it with their shop. Yep. TikTok's now doing it with their shop. TikTok just has, I think, a little bit of a leg up because now anybody can create commission from sales.
Absolutely.
Which
goes back to the user, consumer, creator.
I'm worried about how oversaturated that's going to get. Not going to lie.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be harder for normal users to make money off of it. You're just praying for a video to go viral at that point. But I think it will be the difficulty will stay the same for artists using it. So I think it'll be relatively easy as long as your numbers stay the same.
Well, how artists are going to leverage it is completely different. However, though, if you are an artist, if you have different brand sponsorships, that could be something that we talk about later. But if you have any kind of brand sponsorships, it could be a very easy way for you to monetize in other avenues if they are on the TikTok Shop. And then also you can actually link to brands through that affiliate page as an artist.
Yep.
And start working with brands that align with, you would definitely want to make sure it aligns with your image, who you are. So maybe if you're a country artist.
I think we're really going to see a lot of that this year. I don't know if you saw it. It was announced today, actually. Eric Church and Morgan Wallen teamed up to buy Field & Stream.
Really? So
they're relaunching the magazine, and they got a whole merch line coming. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that.
They're not about to be sending damn paper magazines out to people, are they?
No, it's the old Field & Stream magazine. I don't know if you've seen it growing up.
Yeah,
they're literally just bringing the same fishing outdoor magazine back.
Yeah, but like in paper form?
I don't know. It might be. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I guess.
Throw it on the coffee table.
All right. I don't know. I'd have to fact check myself, but I feel like magazine subscriptions are pretty damn low compared to prior years.
I think they're rebranding. It seems more so going towards apparel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like
I think they had some physical stores too back in the day affiliated with Dick's Sporting Goods.
They both bought the rights to the magazine and the retail brand.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you're right. So
that's pretty fucking cool.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, but we're talking about independent artists here. They can't go buy a Field & Stream.
Right, but I'm just saying that you could view that through the lens of, okay, say an independent artist is sponsored by
you can set it as a goal.
Whoever.
Yeah. Well, but I've also seen artists create their own brand, too.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it all the time.
I mean, I'm not sure if Mitch, I can't tell, is it Mitch or is it Trey? I don't know, but the Pawpaw's hats thing, right?
Yeah, those are sweet.
There's so many brands going around Nashville, at least, that are, some are created by artists.
Absolutely. I mean, Nothing Fancy was the Hardy thing, right? I think he's pretty involved in it.
I think it was one of, like, the first big...
Yeah.
I mean... Jackson yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Hardy started it, but he was one of the... Yeah, he endorsed it. Well, what artist doesn't in Nashville endorse?
Yeah, now especially.
I mean, if I was that brand...
Whew.
Shit.
I knew some girls in college that were, like, reps for him.
Really? Who isn't reps for him though? I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I think overall the algorithm isn't really listening anymore.
Nope.
Paid ads are in, monetization methods are in. Just think any way that app is going to make money off of you. Yeah, most likely that's going to rank higher in the algorithm, right? So that's important. I think if it's not paid, it's got to be genuine, great content.
Yeah, if I see another, me and my friends wrote the song of the summer, what do you think? If I see another one of those videos, we're talking to Caden about that, podcast producer Caden about that earlier, I'm going to lose it.
I think consumers, they see through it. They're like, this is ingenuine, swipe.
Yeah,
it worked at first.
Absolutely. It was now, very trendy, and now it's just...
When every artist does it, it's... Ugh. Like, content has to be genuine. It has to be genuine. It has to be... I mean, I think it needs to be creative. It needs to show who you are as an artist, right? It needs to be something that people can connect with, or it needs to be paid.
Yep.
Or people are going to swipe. They'll see right through it.
Yep, I think we're in a resurgence of storytelling songs and better songwriting for the most part, and I think that's going to do a lot more for you, especially on socials in 2024.
Yeah. Since we're talking about social media, I think it goes hand in hand in some ways with AI. What do you think about AI?
Love it. Totally here for it.
A lot of artists are scared as hell of it.
A little skeptical at first, but I think the benefits of it far outweigh. I get, like, in the copyright sense, why you'd want to be scared of it, but I mean, who isn't utilizing it? Well, a lot of people aren't utilizing it, but they should
I think the problem is people aren't utilizing it in the right way.
In the right ways, absolutely.
Yeah, I think too many people are scared of it. But, like, the negative side of AI, right? The fears. Let's talk about the fears first. The fears are, one, copyrights, obviously. The big Drake fiasco.
Yeah.
There's been more examples, but the Drake one was pretty big with how much money those fraudulent streams actually created. Obviously, that's scary, right? AI being able to completely be the artist and release music is scary. But I think if you use AI as a tool,
it could greatly benefit you.
Especially from, like, a songwriting side of things.
I don't like that side.
Why? Why not?
Well, as a little background on me, I'm a songwriter here in Nashville as well. But I think the whole point of songwriting is to be creative, to be real, to be yourself.
Well,
and
yeah,
if you're letting
absolutely.
AI write it for you.
But, like, I kind of think of AI in some ways, or at least I've used ChatGPT, almost as like a thesaurus on steroids. Like, what's another way of saying this? You know what I mean? Or...
I think that's cheating.
Is it cheating?
It's one thing if you're looking, like, every songwriter I know here uses rhyme zone, so words that rhyme with whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're saying, what's another way to say this, like, it's writing it for you. I think that's cheating personally. I know people are going to use it, and people do use it, but I don't like it. I don't like it in that aspect.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying have AI write the whole damn song for you, but as a tool, in certain ways, I think it's a good thing.
I don't think so for songwriters, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of other avenues you can use AI to be good in.
Like what?
But I'm not going to say go out and use AI to help you write songs.
Have you seen the different AI-generated content on social media?
Oh, yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's rampant.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting better at making the people look exactly like themselves. I'm curious. I don't think it's going to be in 2024, but maybe 2025, 2026. I could see AI being able to create, like, inauthentic content for artists. Like, hey, create a photo of me in a field spinning around or something like that. You ain't got to go to the field anymore. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like that side. Like, I don't like the inauthentic AI taking over. I like it as a tool to add to what you're already doing. But at the same time, I think it's going to happen. I mean, I've already seen a lot of labels start using it with stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Content. I mean, and we've used it not for content, but for things like writing bios and summaries and for EPKs.
Oh, yeah. ChatGPT, it created our mission statement.
For that. That's it absolutely
it created our mission statement.
I think that's a great avenue to use it for. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so I definitely use it for that. If you need help writing something sounding professional, or even you could probably use it for booking emails too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything like that, it's a great resource for.
Yeah, but I think the big debate, and it's already in the headlines now if you aren't seeing it, but there's a lot of politicians helping to lobby this, a lot of industry associations helping to lobby this as well, but copyright protections when it comes to AI, very crucial that gets written in stone, because right now there is no protection for artists.
I forget if it was UMG or Warner, but one of them posted 2 days ago. They just filed a lawsuit.
Yeah.
To kind of get that taken care of.
Yeah, there's a lot of associations. I'm sure BMI and ASCAP and all of them.
That's
where a lot of the nonprofits
the nice
use
thing
their
is
money.
everyone's basically going to be on the same side about this, within the industry at least.
Yeah, it's just, here's the thing. People already weasel their way through copyright law now because it is not very black and white. They need to make sure that, I think there needs to be terminology about what's art, what can create royalties too, not even just copyrights, but I think platforms need to create rules like what is allowed, right? Like, because I feel like if you take the artist out of it, is it art?
No, if it's not, that's why I don't like it for songwriting. If it's not man-made, it's not real. I don't think you can classify that.
Yeah, but AI is so good, it can sound like it's man-made. How are platforms going
that's
to
the problem.
know?
You can't, like,
how are they going to know?
In ChatGPT, write me a song about whatever, pawn it off as my own, and then...
How do you know?
Now, there are ways, like there are AI detectors. I know my last semester in college, some professors started utilizing them. So you can, like...
AI wasn't around when I was in
It's like
college.
turnitin.com, basically. I'm sure that was around.
Yeah.
Because you're 41 now.
I'm not 40 fucking one. Oh my God.
You were in college in the 80s, I think.
I guess I need to go make a Botox appointment.
Just
all right?
jokes. But anyways, I graduated recently. My last semester in college, there's AI detectors that professors use. So it's like turnitin.com, where basically like they can put your essays into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this essay is 87% AI generated.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so there's ways to tell, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, you never really know.
yeah, I'm just saying DSPs need to have some sort of blockade or
Yeah.
some way of, just like when you submit an essay, like
Anti-AI
checking.
or check for it.
Yeah, but AI is going to get too smart. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's like technology. Once a new technology is made, the curve goes from this to completely vertical.
I think there's a
and
lot
how
of ways
fast
to
it
use it
climbs.
as a tool, though, especially with content, things of that nature, even creating like tour posters.
Yes.
Being able to quickly generate stuff, especially when you're a team of one.
Content, posters, EPKs, bios, summaries.
The stuff that
Booking.
y'all hate to do anyways.
Absolutely. It will take hours of your life and your stress and mitigate that a lot.
Yep. We'll have to share on socials the first AI created album artwork that we did for Even the Devil.
It was scary.
It was
Well,
scary.
we'll insert that right here.
That was when Canva first came out with AI.
Yeah.
It was still learning.
Didn't know
I
what
think.
they were doing too well, but
Anyways, yeah, I think AI will continue finding its way to reshape the industry, especially in entertainment. I think definitely don't be like, no, I'm not using AI. Like, actually take it in, use it as a tool
yeah,
to save time.
as a one-man team, independent artist, use the resources you can.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
not use them if you just because you don't like it.
Use it for the task and the things that take away your
That it's
brain from
tailored
being
towards.
creative.
Yes. Allow it to mitigate your time doing the busy work so you can spend the time you need on the creative side like you should.
Yep. Other than that, I mean, anything regarding social media and AI?
I think about covered all of it
Yeah.
for now.
Genuine money for the socials, monetization,
Yep.
And
Make your
then-
life easier.
AI. Appreciate it, absorb it, don't be against it.
Yep.
All right, cool. I think the other side of that is I think the music industry has gotten a little oversaturated.
Absolutely.
The growth in songs, I mean, in 2022, the average daily number of songs that were released each day was 100,000. 2023 was 120,000 per day.
Now that's like more than
That's 20% growth.
that's
That's
like
20% growth.
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's
a lot.
You can't listen to that much.
Keep in
That's
mind
too much.
the number of artists. I was reading it earlier, so don't quote me on this, but the number of artists that actually released music in 2023, it grew by 12%. So obviously we know that people are releasing
a lot of music.
People are releasing music more consistently, right? That's a way to stay at the top of the algorithm, to stay on the playlist, to stay relevant, or to become relevant.
Yep.
But still, the number of artist growth is pretty tremendous too. 12%. It's nuts. Which 2022 was the biggest year of growth when it comes to the number of artists releasing music.
Yeah, and it's going to keep growing, realistically speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe. I think it will hit a breaking point.
Now, what do you think that breaking point will be?
I don't think the number of songs.
What's going to be the cause of it?
Here's the thing. I think overall, it's pretty easy to release music as an artist. It is not hard, right? Back in the day when it was just labels, right? And labels were in control over distribution. And what distribution meant was distribution of physical media, CDs. They owned all the CD manufacturers, right? And vinyl manufacturers and cassette, whatever, right? They controlled everything. Now, as an independent artist, you're empowered. Anybody, a hobbyist can release a song tomorrow just to listen to it by themselves.
Pay your money, hop on DistroKid, and
anyone can release music, right?
Yeah.
Just like everyone can make content and make money off of it. So there's an oversaturation, but the thing is there's still only so many hours in a day. There's only so many consumers, right? And I think that's a huge reason as to why Spotify is putting the limits, right? It has to reach at least 1,000 streams before they'll pay out.
Yep.
And all these limits are being set. But still, this oversaturation of content, it's what makes it harder to get on playlist. It's what makes, especially if you're a brand new artist.
Yeah, there's a big pool to sort through, and so it's how do you break out and make yourself stand out of that 120,000 released a day.
Right. And I think another big piece is there's, Spotify is coming out with the podcast platform within their app. There's a lot of other different moves and players here that's going to be taking consumers' time away from just streaming music. Mm-hmm. So that's an important piece to remember. There's only so many hours in a day. So the most important takeaway, like you said, is how are you going to stick out? That's a huge piece. You need to create a following.
You need to create a following. I think it goes back to the conversation we had earlier about authenticity.
Yep.
Being real.
Yep. That's what's going to break through the noise.
Absolutely.
Personally, I think, anyways.
And it's not going to be a huge break at first for the most part, but it's baby steps.
Yeah.
You get a little bit here. Just keep growing.
Yeah. But still, oversaturated. Yeah, I think it's kind of overwhelming. New Music Fridays, like if you just go through all the new music genre playlist or
it's insane.
fresh finds by each genre, it is insane.
You can't I try to keep my favorite artists, and I know, like, for context, it's a Thursday now. I know tomorrow we've got a lot. Cameron Marlowe's dropping. There's...
Hell, in an hour. What are you talking about? In an hour.
Cameron Marlowe's dropping with the Ella Langley.
Oh, that's going to be my first one upstream, but...
Morgan's doing a new version of Spin You Around now, and there's so many more, and it's how do you...
Yeah.
How do you
well,
keep
and
track?
I think that's why we're also going to see Apple Music again. I mean, I think this past year when I look at the artists that we work with, it's been like a 65-70% of streams come from Spotify.
Yep.
About 20 to 30% come from Apple Music. But I think that's the large reason why Apple Music, if they don't change something, it's just going to continue to diminish. And maybe Amazon or one of those are going to replace those stats. But
yeah, I think,
if it wasn't for Release Radar, I wouldn't know if some of my favorite artists released anything. Because I don't see a lot of their posts on social media.
Nope.
So if I wasn't being notified on Friday morning, I'm not going to know about it.
Which goes back to use paid ads for your songs that are coming out because it breaks through all the noise.
Yeah.
Makes it more likely to be seen by your followers and everyone else.
All the Spotify promotion tools too, if you're...
Absolutely. Use your Discover campaigns and everything. And
yeah, I think you have to hit a certain number of followers or streams to use it. But yeah, if you're eligible to do that, I highly recommend it.
We've seen, especially this last release for one of our artists,
it
does wonders.
It did a lot.
It does a lot.
I mean, $800 really pushed the needle.
Yeah.
For discovery. So, yeah, so I think oversaturation is definitely a big thing, and I think it's going to really shake the trees, and I think there's going to be some artists that start to fade off. But yeah, I think there'll even be a different category of artists, of the hobbyist or what have you, that really maybe only do it for themselves or their friend group or what have you. But they're going to be prioritizing the ones that are genuine artists.
Genuinely pursuing it as a career.
And Spotify will not be the only one that makes that 1,000 stream. Yeah.
Oh, no, everyone's going to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody's going to do it.
Yep. Yeah, what's next on our list? What's another big 2024?
Physical sales.
Oh, yeah, physical. So
what's going on with those?
Big growth in physical.
Big.
Now, keep in mind, we're going based off Illuminate report, but physical sales, so I'm talking about vinyls, I'm talking about CDs, tremendously grew year over year. 27.8% was the stat for 2023. That's pretty tremendous growth considering it declined so tremendously up until, I think, about 2020. Then it was like basically extinct.
Vinyl's back.
Yeah.
Shout out to my favorite podcast, the Playdate Pod. They did a little draft called Sayings That Don't Exist, and one of the sayings was, vinyl's back.
Yeah, vinyl is back. Vinyl is back.
In 2023, 5.9 million units of vinyl records were sold.
At $20 a pop, that's a lot of money. At least $20 a pop.
Keep in mind, too, if you're trying to get like a gold record or platinum or what have you, they actually count as a unit.
Yes, that's a singular unit. It's not like the...
Instead of 1,000 streams, it's one unit. It's one unit.
Sell your damn vinyls.
But Gen Z also, they love it. They like to actually have something in their hands, right? Something physical in their hands. Same thing with like books and things like that. Gen Z is pretty big on kind of stepping away from the phone every now and then and actually having something.
Another thing I've seen, good album art too, will sell vinyls.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Z wants to hang them on a wall.
Oh, if you sign
Make sure
that
your
thing,
album art's good, sign it,
make it limited quantities, they're going to buy it.
Could be the worst song in the world, worst album in the world. If it looks cool, they will buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to a William Clark Green show, and they had every single one of their albums laid out, and the whole band was there. I bought one of each. I spent $200. $200 because all of them were signed. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Are they going to still be doing music next year? I don't freaking know.
Get them all you can.
I don't know. I'm getting them now.
You're here now. Do it.
They're not. I don't think he's signed to a label. I'd have to fact checker.
William Clark Green label.
Yeah, so it's not like they're going to re-release it. You know what I mean? Or mass distribute.
Bill Grease Records.
Yeah, okay. So not independently. Yeah. Sounds like private investor.
Yeah. Sounds like old Bill's
Grease.
got himself a Greasy Bill, as they call him.
What if we changed ITUD into Haley Mareno?
Dixie Marino.
Dixie May Records.
Dixie May.
Dixie May Music.
May Marino.
Dick's Records.
Dix. I kind of like that.
Cute Dix.
But with an X. Very important.
That'd be good on a hat.
Anyways, physical sales are up significantly. So if you're not doing physical actually media, I highly recommend it. Even in smaller quantities, there's a lot of online sites that you can get even limited quantities of just 50.
Want to hear one of my predictions for 2024?
What is it?
I think cassette tapes are going to come back.
Like a Walkman?
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. I will say...
I think it's a matter of time.
I'm a big eBay person. I'm extremely competitive, and I like to get in bid wars. But I have bought a few cassette tapes.
I think that's going to be next after vinyl. I'm not sold on CD.
I don't think CDs are going to
back.
CDs are not going to come back.
I think cassettes will be next.
That's
the cool thing to do.
Well, you think about it.
But I don't think you're going to beat vinyl.
Well, old catalog music.
Yeah.
So like authentic old catalog music. I'm talking about like our parents' era of music and even older than that.
Your era, my parents' era, because you're...
Don't call me old again. That, the rise and streams of that, like a lot of Gen Zers actually love the vintage, classic feel. And so that's why the vinyl growth. I could see cassettes.
I have a lot of vinyl. I think cassette would be way before CDs. And
cassettes are just so not durable. I hope it doesn't come back. I'll buy it. It's just, how do I play it? I just look at it.
Get you a Walkman.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I think, obviously, I think we all kind of know this, but radio relevance, depending on the demographic and the age group, we're still good on video, right? Okay.
Like, you listen to a lot of radio because
I do not listen to radio
you're
at
so
all.
old.
Depending on the demographic, I think radio relevance is declining tremendously. I think if you want to know what's up and coming in the up and coming years and in the future, look at the youngest generation, Gen Z. They just got into the job force. They just started making their own money. The only 2 employees I have are Gen Z. But their trends, radio is not relevant.
No, I mean, you could see like Spotify growth has been insane in the last few years as these Gen Zers are getting off of mom and dad Spotify,
Right.
creating their own accounts.
Right. I mean, some will throw it on when they're in their car, I think.
If you don't have Bluetooth.
If you don't have
That's
Bluetooth.
basically, the only ones of my friends that listen to radio don't have Bluetooth in their car still.
Do you want to know the actual stat?
Well, let's hear it.
This is 2022 data, right? So compared to 18 and up, so 18 years of age and up, 88% listen to radio every single day. All right, when you take out Gen Z, only 55%. And I'm curious how many of them just drive around older cars.
I think that's a big part of it because, I mean, most people can't stand radio nowadays. Like, most people want to listen to what they want to listen to, and they want to have the freedom to choose.
Right.
Now that we have that option, like, who wouldn't want that?
Right.
And radio play, it's not.
Oh, also
it doesn't
keep
matter
in mind,
now.
this also includes Sirius XM. So I bet you majority of that 55% is actually
Is doing
internet radio.
XM, listen to
It's
the
internet
highway
radio.
or Civic Artist Radio, things like that.
I don't think it's FM or AM.
No,
It's that, dude, AM.
honestly,
AM, it just, I think,
no. I will say a part of it may be AM strictly for sports radio.
oh, that's a good point.
That may be a big piece of it.
You got your grannies listening to preachers on there, too.
Yep,
Shout
preachers
out.
and. All right, but speaking of radio, what happened this week?
What happened this week?
What happened this
Are we
week?
going to talk about the Zach Bryan and Applebee's dude?
I think so.
Not Applebee's dude. Walker Hayes.
Yep,
What's your take on it?
Other people know him, Applebee's dude.
Applebee's dude.
How's everybody?
That the fancy dude, the AB guy.
So you saw all the shit on the social media, the back and forth?
yeah, it's insanity.
Whose side do you take?
We know whose side I take. The right side, the only right side, the Zach Bryan side. Now, and I think there is a little bit of an overreaction there on Walker Hayes because I get it. He's kind of sliding Walker Hayes there, but I think it was mostly a diss at radio, and a pro Tyler Childers thing. So for those that don't know, Zach Bryan tweeted the other day, because Tyler Childers had his first charting single on radio and it charted at like 55 or something like that. It was In Your Love, right, Caleb?
Yeah.
And Zach Bryan tweeted, I can't believe Tyler Childers just had his first charting radio single. Can you imagine that radio, whoever the hell that is playing this Applebee's song rather than Shake the Frost? Which, okay. Country radio especially.
Yeah.
Country music. I get why you're playing the Applebee's song. I do. It's mainstream, whatever. It's commercial. But I get what he's saying. It's more so a pro Childers post. But then it brings into the argument, the radio relevancy. It's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, but some would argue, and this is me playing devil's advocate.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of, as a consumer, I'm not going to stream either one of them. So this is me being devil's advocate, playing both sides. Some would argue that is relevant. I mean, that song, the Walker Hayes Appleby song, did great from a streaming side of things as well. Went viral on TikTok. Did extremely well, right? I'm not saying we shouldn't
No.
have more
Okay,
authentic music on country radio, because I am totally for that. But when you say that the Appleby song isn't relevant, I would say it's still relevant.
I'm not saying it isn't relevant.
It's too relevant. It relates. Too many people can relate to it. That's the problem.
I'm
I
saying
think that's the problem with country radio.
I don't think radio made that song though.
Oh, no.
And how much
No. it
for
didn't.
Fancy Like? You know how much Walker Hayes has pushing
I think you
that
should have
song.
named it Applebee's, not Fancy Like.
You know how much Walker Hayes has behind that song in marketing, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
How much do you think Tyler Childers had in Shake the Frost? The song Zach's talking about. Because I would be willing to bet a lot of money it was this much dollars.
Yeah. Well,
That's
there's
a big fat zero
It was just a
for the
song
audio
sitting
listeners.
around in his back pocket.
Absolutely. I mean, it's released. I mean, the only version out is a live version.
Yeah. I think the main point is
10 years ago.
it's almost impossible to get on country radio unless it is some generic mass.
Mainstream appeals to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it can be mass consumed.
Yeah.
Radio's,
But it's not needed.
yeah. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of that song, the Fancy Like song success, was driven monetarily
Right.
with the label backing. And
But here's the thing, like, when it comes to radio, like, of course you hear it in other genres, but you don't hear it as much as you hear it in country music. Oh, it charted at blah, 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 radio, blah, 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 radio, country radio,
radio's-
meh, meh, meh. Like, who gives a shit about radio?
well, country's just always been rooted in radio. I mean, you have things like the Opry that's still, I mean, it was a radio show.
Right.
And that's where so much of
Right.
the history is. But I think that's why country,
I
things
feel
like
like-
that are why country cares so much about it.
I also feel like country doesn't evolve as fast as
No,
other
they're
genres.
always way behind the curve.
Yeah, right.
Country now is going through the renaissance that pop went through 10 years ago.
Right. I don't know. I think my thing with radio is artists make, and this is something that a lot of people, consumers, don't know, they make $0 from radio. $0. Music artists make $0. Radio makes a shit ton from ads. That's the reason why I don't listen to it. It's because of the freaking ads. But artists make $0. Songwriters, they make money from radio, which adds a whole nother caveat.
Which means that artists can make money from radio if they're a writer on the song.
Right. How often does that happen? A lot of them are outside cuts.
A lot of your big charting artists are,
Yeah.
don't write their own songs.
I don't know. I
But
think
Tyler Childers, officially a radio artist, he's making money.
while we are debating on it now, I feel like in 2 years, it's going to be kind of like cassette tapes. Not necessarily cassette tapes. It'll still exist, but
Yeah, I mean, it'll always be there because there's only so much news and
Yeah.
sports and
AM,
whatever you can talk
FM,
about.
that's dying. I think internet radio is always kind of be there.
Yeah,
Pandora is
I think
technically
Pandora is
even.
going to be like your new
Yeah.
or mainstream radio, even though it's been around
Yeah.
forever. But that will be the format I think it follows more so.
Right. Well, as the generations kind of fade out, things are going to change. You need to look at what generations, what they're doing, what demographic groups are doing. Gen Z. I mean,
And
that's where you
I
should be
think
targeting
radio's
towards.
changed a lot too. I mean, I used to enjoy radio. I did. I had my favorite talk shows and all that.
Yeah,
But-
before I could choose what I wanted to listen to.
exactly. But now you give me the option.
I mean, I burned my own CDs in high school to keep myself from having to listen to radio.
In Chicago, you didn't listen to Eric and Kathy in the mornings, 101.9?
No. No. Never. I couldn't name one Chicago radio station.
There was Roman and another guy, too, on 95.5. Roman's College Country Knowledge. They used to do that. They used to call in. Never got on it.
Of course not. Probably because it'd get their radio show canceled. Like I'm going to get my podcast canceled. Anyways, just kidding. That was heated. All right. So I think the last little segment that I wanted to talk about is some different genre trends that I think will set the tone for 2024. You got your mic fixed?
Yep.
All right. Country music. I mean, country music was the fastest growing genre last year.
Country music had a year.
They had a
They had
fucking year.
Damn good year.
Let's also keep in mind, fuck Taylor Swift. Morgan Wallen beat her ass at some of the charts, only some. But, I mean, I'm not anti-Taylor Swift. Appreciate her as a business, but
It's pretty cool to say a country artist beat her this year.
an actual country artist,
Yes.
not one that claims to be country.
Morgan Wallen.
Yes.
Talking about. But yeah, I think it's just a big year in general. There's a lot of, it's just the biggest year country's had since probably the 90s.
It grew by 23.7%.
Yeah. Insane.
In streams. 23.7%.
Country is cool. Country's back.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep.
But I mean, it makes it. We're so fucking back.
Well, what's so interesting is I think for a long time country music was appealing a lot more to boomers and what have you.
And we're out of that pro country phase that gives country such a bad rap.
Right. We're out of that.
Where it's more mainstream. You have, I mean, Morgan Wallen's arguably the most mainstream artist in the world right now. Zach Bryan's appealing to everyone.
But he's still a storyteller. Like, the songs are not typically...
No, they're not bad songs by any means.
Yeah,
like
besides Last Night, like, that song's... That's...
Yeah, but even the Asians are listening to that one, so...
Jesus Christ.
That's a Theo Von quote. Can't get canceled for that. Not my words. And I'm Asian, so...
Oh, my God.
That one's staying.
Anyways. Did you know that the week of Wallen's release, 1 out of every 5 country music streams was Wallen?
Last night.
Kind of helps when you have a 36 song.
album. That's too many songs.
That's a lot of songs.
That's a lot of songs.
But he had one hell of a year. Country music had one hell of a year.
Yeah, between him, Zach Bryan,
but there was a bunch
Lainey Wilson.
I mean, it wasn't so top heavy with just Morgan. I mean,
No.
Bailey, Zach, Luke Combs, all of them had really
Lainey.
great years. Lainey.
Hardy, Ernest. I'm thinking of guys that dropped albums. Hardy, Ernest.
There was a lot of major albums.
Yeah, tons.
Yeah.
Cody Johnson. Mm-hmm. Turnpike Troubadours is back. That was a big deal.
Yeah. They didn't really make it to the top of the top list, but
pretty good.
Either way.
Pretty good.
Despite that, I
Parker
think country
McCall.
music's really appealing to Gen Z and millennials again. It's trending with them.
Yep.
Whatever they're doing, and they're doing it right. I just can't believe that 23.7%. I was pretty staggered by that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
Proud to be a part of it.
How do you think Gen Z typically discovers country music?
TikTok.
Yeah. Yep. Gen Z, here's a stat from Luminate. Gen Z country music listeners are 48% more likely to discover new music through video and audio streaming services than the average U.S. music listener. And whenever I looked in the little footnotes, when they say video streaming, that includes TikTok. It includes YouTube and TikTok.
That's in TikTok's. That's the bigger number there.
Yep. But also, country music listeners specifically that are Gen Z, they are 16% more likely to discover it through those mediums. So they're really on TikTok.
Yep.
So if you are a country music artist and you are not on TikTok,
utilize TikTok.
and you're
Utilize
wondering
your
why
paid
you
ads.
can't reach the Spotify 1,000 stream limit, here's your answer. Your listeners are there. I will say this. So obviously the top genre from a consumption standpoint has always been rap and R&B. Mm-hmm. They still experience growth, but new release streams declined by 7.1% this year. Kind of staggering. Don't usually see that. Catalog streams, so older releases, those still grew by 11.7%, but new release streams declined by 7.1%. Kind of nuts. But
Yeah, I can't really chime in there. Don't listen to that stuff too much, but
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to even talk about genres because I don't know. I feel like genres are a mess right now. There's like 18 million genres.
and there's subgenres and subgenres and subgenres. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an argument. You see it all the time in country music.
Yeah.
That's not country. That's not country.
Yeah. I don't think really, especially with Gen Z and the babies that are coming into the world, I don't think they really think in terms of genre anymore.
Yeah, and I used to give a shit about that conversation, be like, and die on that hill. Oh, that's not country music. But now at the end of the day, like, good music is good music, and it's all subjective. Who gives a shit?
Right. Well, when it comes to subgenres, I'll
Yep.
leave it at this with the genre talk. Alt rock is the largest growing subgenre. So indie rock, alt rock, that is growing. So that's why you're probably seeing a lot of the country rock, like the Austin Snells and what have you, that
People leaning into that.
leaning into that rock kind of subgenre. They're seeing tremendous growth. They're breaking
Yeah, and
through
you're
the
seeing
noise.
resurgence, like Creed's doing their tour now, and
Those tickets
a
were.
lot of it's coming back. Muscat Bloodlines is doing the Teenage Angst thing.
Yep.
Did you see they teased another one today? Part 2?
No.
Yeah, they got Drayton Farley as a feature on. They didn't say the song yet, but
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good. Other than that, I think an interesting fact about alt rock listeners, though, they are 44% more likely to purchase merch. Interestingly.
Well, I feel like
They're
alt rock bands usually just have cooler merch in general.
Yeah. Interestingly, too, they're 93% more likely to use Reddit. Isn't that a weird fact that Luminate decided to give me? Nuts.
I could see that makes sense though. Like I can see
I see
it.
alt rock probably being a lot of Gen Zers, though.
Yeah, that's why I think
makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're 42% more likely to discover new music from sync compared to other U.S. listeners. So TV placements, ad placements, interestingly.
Huh.
Kind of interesting.
Who'd have thunk it?
All right. I think we've talked about a lot. I think what we know for damn sure is the industry is going to continue to evolve. I think, if anything, transformation and digital and AI and all these other things are going to transform the industry even more in the next coming years. I think if there's any big advice that I can give to an artist is evolve or die, you know.
That's the name of the game.
Don't stay comfy. Don't keep doing the same thing. Stay on top of what's going on in the industry. Follow pages like this.
Find what works, and if it don't, try something new.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to take shots.
Just don't stay the same, because that's when you're going to really fall in the algorithm. But either way, that's a wrap on episode 1. And yeah, I guess we can cut.
Pretty sure we need a cut.
Oh yeah, you got to go in front and say cut.
That's been a wrap on the official episode 1 of Ignite the Underdog podcast. I'm Caden. This is TJ. This is Haley. We're signing out. Have a good evening, everybody.
We need a clapper.
I might go buy one.